Okay, let's continue on to section 2. Let's bring the ACI fabric to life. Connecting an ACI fabric together. If you remember our previous section, we discussed the individual components of an ACI fabric, and we have the APIC. The APIC, as we mentioned, it's going to orchestrate all of our configurations in our fabric, meaning that all my leaf configs, all my spine route reflector settings, all my settings across the board, across the fabric, are going to be pushed from the APIC. So I either log into the UI and configure the object, configure the rules, configure the bridge domains, the endpoint groups, the contract through the GUI, or we can go in API mode where we make API calls using a Python script to automate this particular instruction. So we also mentioned that the leaves are basically connected to the spines. So we have one link to spine 1, we got another link to spine 2, and we want to make sure that we have redundancy on the APIC side as well as the leaf side, right? Let me review what we discussed in section 1, particularly how do we connect everything together. Okay, let's start by drawing the APIC, okay? So we got an APIC, and then the APIC. On the back of this APIC, and by the way, I mentioned that this is a UCS C220. It looks just like a UCS C220 server. On the back, you're going to have a network adapter or a network interface. This will be a VAC interface, and it will have 2 SFP ports. What we want to do is get an SFP, connect one side of this cable or this patch into one of those ports on the back, and then connect the other one to the other port. And we want to spread that connection between 2 leaves, leaf 1 and leaf 2. To review, we have an SFP interface. SFP interface, we connect this to one leaf, we connect this to the other leaf. Why we're doing this? For redundancy. If I lose one leaf, I'm still able to communicate over leaf 2. Okay, so now that you saw that, let me go ahead and clean this a little bit, okay? So now that you saw it, and you now know how to connect the APIC. And by the way, those ports, we are just going to connect them into member ports or end host ports. On the leaves, we don't want to use the far right. No. To connect the APIC, we're just going to use a member port like we were just connecting any other server onto the leaf itself. Then we have a spine switch on top. And this is where we actually use those ports. So we're going to have the uplinks on the far right, and we just basically connect one uplink to this spine, another uplink to the other spine. And that in a nutshell is a very basic connectivity diagram. We connect one leaf up to the spine, one leaf down to the APIC. And by the way, we only need 3 APICs. So if you have if you see my topology here, I have 4 APICs. And then I got connectivity spread between leaf 1 and leaf 2 for APIC 1. APIC 2 is between leaf 2 and leaf 3. APIC 3 is leaf 3 and leaf 4. So if we have more leaves, that doesn't mean I need to have more APICs. No, we only need 3 APICs. So we only need to make sure that our fabric consists of 3 APICs. Okay. So to review, uplink to the spine from the leaves and uplink from the leaf to the APIC. So we use this VIC interface on the back of the APIC and connect those interfaces together. Okay, so let's review. Let's review everything and make sure that you understand how do you connect the ACI fabric together. We start by the APIC. The APIC, we're going to be using the back VIC interface, and we just mentioned that on the back of the server, you're going to have 2 interfaces. We're just going to connect one to one leaf, the other one to the other leaf. Leaf 1, we connect one port to the first leaf, and then we connect the second port to the second leaf. We can use any end-host leaf port, and when I talk about end-host leaf ports, this is your leaf, leaf 1. Let's take that as an example. We got the interfaces, all my access ports on this particular leaf, and then at the end, we have the uplinks to the spines. We can use any member interface to connect to the APIC because this is just like any other server, okay? Leaves. We connect one designated uplink. This is far right ports, and this is what I was talking about, the uplinks on the far right of the leaf to each spine. and this is a QSFP form factor. Those are either 40 or 100 interfaces. So those are either 40 or 100 gig interface. We connect for redundancy. We got one leaf, we got another leaf, and we got a spine. We connect one uplink, leaf one, or in this case, any leaf, and then the other one. We want to make sure that everything is connected to all spine, right? So we got leaf one, leaf two, spine one. Let's go ahead and draw if we have a full-blown fabric with spines and 3 leaves, so you have no issues when you first build your fabric. We got 2 spines, spine 1, spine 2, leaf 1, leaf 2, leaf 3. We connect one interface to spine 1, and this is one of those uplinks on the far right, and then the other one goes to spine 2. Same with leaf 2, one goes to spine 1, one goes to spine 2, and finally leaf 3, one goes to spine 1, and the other one goes to spine 2. You got it? Make sure always dual connectivity. Spine 1, spine 2 for each leaf, okay? And finally, the spines, we just need to confirm what we just talked about. We need to make sure that we have connectivity from all leaves in the fabric. We want to make sure that every single leaf has an uplink to the spine, okay? Alrighty, so let's go ahead and continue to our next video. Okay, everyone, in our next video, we're going to build the fabric from the ACI APIC. Thank you for watching.